Hello and welcome to another amazing week here in Wellington. We're heading into Lugano week 7, the big 5-star Grand Prix, second of the season coming up, and again it's a star-studded week indeed. We're going to be wrapping up what happened last week out on the field as well, and of course the big winners in the Hunter Championship week here too. But I can tell you it's a star-studded lineup for our guests here today, a golden lineup for those coming up on this week's WEF Weekly. And welcome to Lugano 5-star week as well. The second 5-star competition of the season. Lugano, proud sponsor here at the Winter Equestrian Festival, and as a passionate supporter of the equestrian community, Lugano has created a collection of equestrian-inspired wearable works of art. You can visit the Lugano Lounge if you're located here on site. If not, you can head to their website, which is luganodiamonds.com. And bringing you our live streaming each week is Dodd Technologies, your partner in engineering extraordinary experiences since 1983, and discover how they elevate sports, entertainment and corporate events at doddtechnologies.com. And our continued support of the USEF as well, the supporting sponsor of our live stream, in part with the support of the US Equestrian Federation and the USEF network as well. Lots to bring you here this week. Like I say, we're going to be delving into Lugano week, the second of the 5-star weeks of the season as well, but also a little wrap up of last week as well, week 6, which of course Hunters taking the spotlight there, but also plenty of jumper action as well. So let's take a look at what happened out for the jumping action, and that was out on the field last week with the winner of the Ida Developments Grand Prix presented by Barn Walkers. Well, the winner there was Ben Mayer and Ginger Blue. Fantastic horse owned by Jane Clark here in the United States. There's been a brilliant performer for him, past winners of the Paris Grand Prix, but out there on the field they were certainly enjoying themselves here last week. Ben, who's a number of times taken the big class here, has certainly enjoyed himself out on the grass. Claims another big Grand Prix here in Wellington. Overall lineup there saw a battle with Marilyn Little of the United States to finish in second there, and Catherine Driscoll of the US and Hidalgo finishing into our top 3, completed there by Lacey Gilbertson, Max Watchman and Natalie Dean for our top 6 on that 3-star week as well. And how about the rest of the week? Well, it was a fantastic lineup for not only jumping, but also for the Hunter Spectacular as well. Won by Liza Boyd, and congratulations to her with Odaina Dolian, finishing on 91.25 in total, ahead of Tori Colvin and Amanda Stige as our top 3 on what was another well-watched Saturday night here in Wellington as well. Back on the grass, and it was the Brain Juice Under 25 series, and at the top of that and leading the table so far is Hallie Grimes of the United States, the young Texan, with Caroline of Bullmore, a horse that's certainly got plenty of speed about it, has the ability out there on the grass to really win past winners of the Rolex Grand Prix out there, with Ashley Bond in the saddle. And Hallie built up this fantastic partnership now and has certainly built her some good standings throughout the whole of the Brain Juice U25 series. But a confident run from them to the line took them home to win the class. And Hallie Grimes now tops the Brain Juice U25 Grand Prix series, ahead of Emily de Hoff, Tim Brennan into the top 3, Isabel Amon, as we see there. It is top 5 for Taylor Corley and Mia Bagnato as the lineup. Now, I promised you a fantastic lineup of guests here today, and it was a promise I'm going to keep, because I'm going to say alongside me is the reigning Olympic champion, Christian Kukuk. Christian, welcome. You've been here all season. It's been fantastic.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
You're enjoying the Florida lifestyle.
I do really enjoy it, yes. As you see.
You've embraced it. That's what I like. You've also been running away with plenty of classes here as well. You've enjoyed yourself, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say so far I had really a few good weeks. My horses feel great. They like it as me. yeah, we're in the right place in the right moment, and I'm looking forward for the next weeks.
A bit of sun on their back and they're enjoying that one.
Never wrong.
Mimi Gochman, I'm delighted to say, alongside as well. Youth Equestrian gold medalist too. We're keeping with the golden theme down here. Mimi, fantastic result for you into the Fidelity Week 5 Grand Prix, but it's been a continued run. You've been consistently top 3.
Well, working on consistency always and trying to keep the horses in really good form, so I'm very pleased with the whole team and grateful, and hopefully I can keep it up.
Fingers crossed. And not only one Olympic champion here, but 2 Olympic champions. The great Rodrigo Pessoa is with us as well. Rodrigo, looking forward to this week. Major Tom is coming back with us.
Yeah, definitely. We can't forget that we still have 10 months after this, so we kind of have to pace ourselves a little bit, but it's time to get going, and I'm looking forward for this week.
And you base out here all winter, don't you?
We're here, yeah. We're running away from the cold, and very lucky to be here until April.
Well, I don't blame you for that at all, and great to have you here with us. We're going to look a little bit back at Fidelity Week as well, the Week 5 Grand Prix there as well, because we're talking 5 stars as well. Great start for you guys in there. Rodrigo, we're looking forward to you being on the podium this week with a fantastic Major Tom. But it was Kent Farrington that was the winner of the Fidelity 5 star. I'm going to turn to Rodrigo for this. With Greyer, and I mean, again, from his point of view, he did what Kent does, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. You know, when he's in the jump off of especially of a 5-star Grand Prix, he's ready to go, and he's not going for seconds. Christian was first to go and had laid an almost perfect jump off track, but maybe had left the smallest the smallest crack open, and Kent, you know, just got in there and just got a little bit faster. So it was a great class. So it was, I think, the first 5-star, and we immediately got to the taste of the winter. Yeah,
straight on, gloves off, in we go. Yes, Kent Farrington's time 35:11, Christian's time 35:45, and in third place was Mimi Gochman. Mimi, congratulations!
Thank you.
Super result there for you as well. We're going to take a little look at your round too, Mimi, from that point of view. You've had time to reflect on this.
Yes.
How did you feel about it?
I was so excited. I think that's probably the biggest result I've ever had. I've been trying to compete in the Saturday night classes for a little bit now, and I grew up watching them, and it's definitely different for me. The atmosphere is it's a lot of pressure, and I've been building this horse up for a little bit now. He's jumped quite a few 5-stars, and he's so competitive and so easygoing, and he really tries his heart out. So I just wanted to jump double clear, and then I got really competitive and was like, I'm going to go really fast. So I was really pleased with him. I could have done one less 1-2, and that's kind of where I got caught up. He has a little bit of a stiffer right side, and I messed that up, but I was so beyond pleased anyways, it didn't matter.
I was going to say, based on that conversation, how much of that was the plan and how much was...
I planned to do one less, 1-2, and I messed that up, and then I was like, okay, keep your cool, just try to go as quick as you can for the rest of it. And then the last line was a bit of a question, whether I leave the stride out or I don't. He has a massive stride, and I knew I'd added 1-2, so I was like, maybe I can try to take one out here and catch up a little bit, and luckily it stayed up and he was able to jump the jump clear, but sometimes those risks are worth it and sometimes they're not.
Well, you were also just behind the Olympic champion, which is not too bad a day.
No, never.
Christian, you've had a really good start to the season. You won the NetJets Grand Prix. You've been top 3s already, of course. It's been delightful to see Checker here as well. Let's take a look at yours, because you laid it down in the jump off there. You like going early, don't you?
I don't mind, but yeah, in the very end, if you have such a competitive jump off, it's definitely not the best position you can have. I would have liked to be later, but I tried my very best. In the end, if you put both rounds on top of each other, like Kent and me, we did exactly the same number of strides in the whole course. The only thing he was smarter in using the lines a little bit better. Like, I was first to go and I did not really know how the lines were really rideable in the end. Like, I expected the 8 longer to the last vertical, So I went there a bit too early and I had to wait for the last 3 strides, and I got a little bit of a slow finish.
Yeah.
And he used the line much nicer because he knew the 8 are actually not that long, and he had a going 8 in the end, and he had a flying finish, and that's made the 0.3 of a second, I think it was.
Exactly.
I knew it. When I came out, I knew it was good, but it was not good enough for that night. And I knew that Kent, because I know his horse and I know him and I know how competitive they are in a jump off. I mean, Checker is incredibly competitive, but I knew if there's someone to beat that round, that's probably Kent with Greyer, and that happened.
And 2 different types there. I mean, Checker we've watched in the Grand Prix earlier on this season as well, turns up, a couple of strides out, and you've got that power there. You have 2 different approaches to it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it wasn't. There was a turn probably a bit missing for me where I really could have said, okay, this is my jump off. It was about speed and number of strides, a little bit more in that jump off. But like you said, he is good in both. Actually, I tried my very best. Some days it's enough, some days it's not.
But the interesting thing is the way you've described that. You obviously gone back and watched it in detail.
Yeah, mate, for sure. I always go back. It doesn't matter what is the result. I always go back and compare the round with my feeling and what I probably would have done different and better the next time. And I had that instinct feeling that it wasn't enough at that night, and I could feel immediately that I had a slow finish, and I knew it won't be like over a second, but I knew it may be tight, but that's how it goes in these 5-star competitions here, especially in Wellington. It's always very tight to win. So yeah, I had that feeling. I missed a little bit. My feeling was right in that moment. Like you see, I had to wait the last stride to that vertical, and I couldn't really ask him to fly through the finish line. But okay, that happens sometimes. Like I said, I know what was the problem. I know what I would have done different the next time, and we learn every day.
You'll win it next time on the same course. It's fine. Rodrigo, you obviously do the same. I mean, you guys all analyze what you do, don't you?
Yeah, obviously, the video today is an full part of our program, because that's where you can see everything goes so fast in the ring. Sometimes, you can have a different feeling, and then you go back to the video, and then you can see exactly, what went wrong, and that's how you get better, is like by watching the others also, what they did, and if you get beat, or it's always interesting to watch. I go back and I watch every night a lot of rounds, just because I think it's very, very interesting. You see the evolution of horses and stuff, but when you get to this level and it's about 3/10, 2/10, you have to go back and see, because there's always a little something that you can always do better.
And talking about the evolution there, from your point of view, that's changed so much in that availability, hasn't it? As you say, I even see people sort of coming out the ring.
Yeah, immediately.
Straight away watching.
Yeah, immediately.
That's a more recent thing.
They're watching, and I think that's I think in every sport there's so much now technology that is involved in trying to get better and get the edge over your competitors. So I think the analyzing, whether it goes well or especially when it doesn't go well, is really important, and the self-criticism is important to get better.
Mimi, how does it work when you come out the ring? Because you're training with Dara Kenny. I mean, do you have lots of discussion? Do you go straight to the video?
I definitely discuss first, and then I'm one of those people that always watches after. Dara has this thing where he likes a team member to video while we're going, so I'll usually watch that video and watch the video that the show does, and I like to see like the differences in the angles, and sometimes it gives a different perspective, or you miss something that you wouldn't have seen. So I definitely watch my videos over and over again, the good and the bad, because the bad teach you so much more than sometimes the good. So I try to be as analytical and critical as I can, but sometimes Dara will even watch a video and call me and be like, oh, you could have done that, or this was good but you could have done that, and it's definitely a huge part of it.
And it's log it, how do we do that?
Yeah,
do that again
exactly.
This time. Talking about doing it again, we're back into 5-star Grand Prix this week, Lugano week. Christian, what's the plan for you this week?
I'm planning on riding Just Be Gentle on Saturday night in a Grand Prix. I'm in the lucky situation. I can plan that already now because I'm pre-qualified. So I jumped her last week actually, and I had a very good feeling. And like we said, Checker won already a Grand Prix and was second in the other one.
And you've got another 5-star Grand Prix winning horse in your stable ready to go, which is
exactly. That's so. I decided to take her this week. She only jumped so far the National Grand Prix here in the very beginning under the lights, and she went to Ocala for 2 weeks. So I'm very excited actually to have her here. I jumped her today. She felt great. And I give her now 2 days rest, and then she jumps Saturday night the Grand Prix, and I will use Cepano Balube for the qualification tomorrow.
Well, for the people that think that horse's name sounds familiar, of course, Richie Fogel rode the horse to win the Grand Prix here.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're looking forward to taking on that horse now.
Yeah, I
owned by your partner, I should point out.
I took it quite. I took my time with him, and I only showed him in small national classes, and then I stepped up a little bit with him. I jumped him last week in Ocala also, and I have the feeling now we are ready to step up again. So that's why I want to try the qualification tomorrow once, the WEF. And that will kind of tell us a little bit and give us a feedback where we actually are.
It is saying, we're just seeing a little of Just Be Gentle there, that you've got the experience with, that's already in the box, that's the tools ready to go from that point of view.
Yeah, exactly. With her, I know much more. Where are the keys?
Yes.
And that's definitely what you need here Saturday night in a 5-star Grand Prix if you want to be competitive.
Mimi, you're out to be competitive again this week. You're going to beat Christian. He's going to try. From your point of view, what's the plan this week?
I have Cosmos BH jumping the 5-star this week. He jumped the 3-star last week out in the field. I also jumped him in the National Grand Prix earlier this season, trying to just build him back up slowly. He didn't show a lot in the fall, so I was trying to start off slow and kind of build up to the 5-star, but he jumped amazing last week. He feels really good, and I'm excited to see how he can do.
Give us a little background to Cosmos.
Yeah, I've had him for 3 years now. He's absolutely amazing. He's one of the most competitive and talented horses I've ever ridden. He has a great spirit. He's very into the competition. He always tries really, really hard. He's probably one of the hardest triers I've ever worked with, and he's really smart, which is sometimes really amazing, and sometimes he's too smart for me. So I just like to kind of try to stay on the same page with him and do my best, but I feel like now we have a really good connection, and he always tries his best, and he's definitely a spirited guy, but I love him.
I love the spirited part.
Very spirited.
Keep it together.
Yes.
Keep it together from that side of things. As you say, here seeing you on the field last week, just getting in the groove there. Yes. Rodrigo, Major Tom is going to be out, which is great. The winning combination from the President's Cup last year at Washington, that was a good way for you to finish up in the fall from that point of view. Now, taking a bit of a breather since then?
Yeah, we took a little bit of time off, and then we started getting him into action a little bit. On week 4, I went to Ocala and jumped some smaller classes. Then I came here on week 5 and jumped a 145 and a 150, and had to, bypass the Grand Prix. Then he had a week off, and now he's going to do the WEF and to get him on the height a little bit, and then hopefully, the Grand Prix on Saturday. But like I said, it's very early in the year still, and there's still a lot of things to come ahead of us. But I think that it's time now to get going, do a little bit more. He feels very good, and he's going to go straight in the WEF tomorrow.
He's a little shot of him jumping here. I mean, he's a fantastic jumping horse. I mean, what does he feel like? Yeah,
it's a horse that has a lot of ability. We really took our time in the beginning with him because he was very delicate and very like a little bit anxious, but he's getting so much better, and he's 12 now, and he has matured really well, and I think that we are, the best is still to come with him. So I'm really looking forward, and he's a very fun horse to ride because he has so much quality. He's very intelligent and makes the job of the rider very, very easy.
And you've had your amazing horses in your life. It's wonderful to sort of get horses like this continuing in your career.
Yeah, I mean, to do this level, you can have all the experience, but you really need the horse because otherwise you can't. You're just a pedestrian if you don't have the real horse under you. And luckily, I have this. We bought this horse as a 7-year-old and produced him, with time, and now we can reap the rewards of this, and he can, go faster. Although he's not the fastest horse, but you can take a shot. He has a big stride. If it's a track that really is is inviting to leave out a stride, that's a horse that can do that. He doesn't have the turn of foot of foot speed of Greya or Checker, but in the day you can get lucky, and if there's not too many in the jump off, you can squeak in there. So it's okay. It's they can't have everything.
It can beat you on the day. We've actually got some shots of you winning in Washington as well last year into the President's Cup there too, as well. Fantastic result there. Nice to get that one trophy tucked back underway as well for you and the owners of the Artemis team.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great night. The show was really good. It was a World Cup qualifier. Although I had in my mind that the World Cup was not really something for me, because the arena is not super big. It's a horse that needs a little bit of space. He's very careful, but he needs a little bit of room. And I think that Basel, the World Cup final, it's really big jumps.
Yeah.
And it comes quick. It's not really a destination where I think he could shine. So, I've been there. I know what it takes to win the World Cup, and it would not be a fit for him. So, forget about it. Despite we had the 20 points in Washington, but there's other things, and this is a setup that is much better for him. And throughout the year, going to outdoor shows on grass, that's where he's really comfortable, and so that's where this is what we're aiming at.
We've seen him in the Arkans, etc.
That's a better setting for him than to go and and jump into small arenas.
Speaking of Arkan, Youth Equestrian Games, a couple of seasons back now. You were in the teams and the lineup there. Gold as a team from that point of view. What was that experience like, and how does that sort of feel that sets you up in the future?
I absolutely loved it. I mean, you grow up hearing about Aachen and watching Aachen, and it was an amazing opportunity to get to go and compete in the ring and meet some new people and watch all the best in the world all at the same time. So I had the absolute most amazing time, and I learned a lot. I drew a horse out of a hat and had to figure out how to ride it, and the jumps weren't so big, but that's still something challenging, and it was a good growing moment for me. I got lucky. The horse I drew was an absolute joy to have and work with, and I tend to be a very trusting rider, so I was able to kind of figure that out with him. But it's one of the biggest learning experiences of my life. It was the first time I'd ever really gone to a big show like that in Europe and gotten to watch, and we were allowed to sit in the stands with all the riders, and it was absolutely incredible, and it definitely teaches you how to work with new people. It was kids from all over the world, kids that I wouldn't normally compete against since they're in other parts of Europe or other parts of Asia, and even some from Africa, which I've never gone to a horse show in Africa, so it's just something that was really incredible to hear from and learn their techniques or what they've learned and kind of incorporate that into my own lifestyle, and I couldn't have loved it more.
Loved it. I was say it was a replacement for the Youth Olympic Games, so we can go with a gold medal from that point of view. 2 Olympic gold medalists with me, Athens and Paris. Christian, how have you soaked it all up now? And maybe we'll get some advice from Rodrigo what it's like when you've had it, but you've obviously enjoyed the time since.
I really did. I mean, there was one thing Steve told me that I really should enjoy it.
Steve Gerda.
Yeah, Steve Gerda, exactly.
Pushed him into silver.
Yeah,
after his London gold.
Yeah. And I mean, no, that was a nice advice because there's so much going on after you win the gold medal that I can see some people struggle with actually enjoying what they achieved in that moment. But I must say, I really can say for myself, I enjoyed every single moment I had after Paris. And I still do.
Good.
I still do really.
I think he still enjoys it as well. So
20 years later, it's like
that's what a gold medal is for. Actually,
Yeah.
I mean, that's something like everyone says it. That's for life.
Yes.
No one will take that away. That's for your life, and in many years you will look back and you will still enjoy it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what the gold medal is about, and that's what I do really feel. I do really enjoy that gold medal. Yeah.
Rodrigo, yes, as you say, it's for life. As you say, 20 years later, how does it feel?
It still feels good. It's like years go by and you think about it a little bit less, but you're reminded from time to time, and it's a really fantastic achievement to do it. Only a very few people have the opportunity to do it, and to have that chance to, like Christian said, you're Olympic champion for life, and you can win as many Grand Prix as you want, but the Olympic medal is really different, and I think that Christian has also been a fantastic ambassador for the sport. I've been watching him, compete the last couple of years, but even after the Olympics, he's takes care of the horses, comes to the 2-star, goes to the national classes, jump the meter 35, lunges his horses in the morning. It's amazing to see. It's a fantastic example for the young kids up and coming. If they only knew who Christian Kukuk is, if they look and show some interest, they see that he's Olympic champion, but he's lunging his horse at 8 a.m. That's special. And when you see someone do that, it really makes you feel that sport is in good hands.
I was going to say if you'd give him any advice, having digested it for 20 years now, but I think that's probably it.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing exactly great. He has a great, not taking anything away from him, but he's had a great mentor in Ludger, and he's learned all the right things, and he's really doing fantastic. And it's really great to see someone that's super nice, super accessible, and it's nice to see, because we're a small group, and there's this look in the eye between us that is just different, and I'm really happy that Christian got to achieve that and to enjoy that. It's really rewarding, but he really deserves it.
It feels like a welcome to the club. I think we should be doing like the Masters or Augusta or something, having a dinner with just the Olympic champions. But I mean, Rodrigo mentioned in there Ludger Beerbaum. I mean, I know from being there, Ludger was so emotional when you'd won, to have passed that on to the next generation. How did that make you feel?
Yeah, that was a very special moment. Honestly, I couldn't really see it in that moment when it happened, because there was so much going on. I mean, we had a huge, intensive.
Do you remember much of it?
I remember that, yeah. But then many people came actually after me and said, "Wow, how emotional Ludger actually was about it," and that makes me happy for sure, if that is the right word somehow. Proud, happy. It means a lot for me. He teaches me everything basically in the sport, like what Rodrigo was talking about. You launch your horses yourself. You take them out in the morning yourself. You create a relationship with your horse. If you want to be really on top of everyone, you have to create something special with your horse. And my passion my whole life is working with horses and these animals, and maybe I'm a bit more extreme than other ones. Like I really like to get up in the morning and to launch the horse myself, to see how do they feel today, how do they move, what's the impression of their eyes, like that says something to me for the day. And that, so in the end I know them, I wouldn't say inside out, it's always a bit difficult, but we cannot talk to them, so we have to find another way of communication with the horses. And you only learn that if you spend hours with them together. And that's why I'm probably spending maybe more hours with my horses than someone else. But I personally just think it's very important, and that's coming back to Ludger for sure. Something Ludger teach me.
Excellent. Mimi, you're getting free lessons here.
Love it.
Let's talk this week, and we're looking at 8 of the world's top 10 competing here this week. We're going to have a little look at the list of who is competing as part of this week's Lugano 5-star as well. Massive lineup once again. Kent Farrington there, world number 3, Ben Mayer number 4, you, Christian number 6. McLean Ward is back. We're delighted to say, an injury earlier on in the year, but McLean is back in action. He's been riding today. Great to see him back in his whites today as well. Richard Fogel, number 8, and Shane Sweetnam, number 17 of 6 of those. Also joined by Dara Kenny and Laura Kraus, 8 of the world's top 20 this week. Relishing the battle, Rodrigo? You gloves off, ready to go?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the 5 stars are always very competitive here. And it shows once more that at this time of the year, if you want to do high level, this is the place to be, because you can have the high level, you have the prize money, but you have the lifestyle as well, you have the good weather, and so it's a great place to be. But on the other hand, everybody, a lot of people are, a lot of competitors are here, and it's tough. It's as tough as anywhere in the world to win here. So yeah, we definitely look forward to these 5-star weeks and try to have a good showing, that's for sure.
Mimi, you're looking forward to, how old are you now, Mimi?
I'm 20.
20. You're at college?
Yes.
As well? And you're fitting all of this together?
Yes.
Which is not so easy.
Very difficult. Definitely a balance. I try to get a lot of work done in the beginning of the week so that I can focus on the riding when I come down here, because if you're trying to do school and riding at the same time, it doesn't really work just as it would work if I was trying to do school while riding, so kind of separate the two. But I'm so fortunate to be able to come down, and my parents support this and they're just as into it as I am, so it definitely makes it easier when they're able to help me with the balance and stuff. So I'm super lucky and I'm excited to take on the challenge. It's always about improving, so I'm excited.
You're doing English and entrepreneurship, correct?
Yes.
and then you're riding against Olympic champions at the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Thank you.
Christian, I mentioned the lineup in there. Do you relish the competition here? We've got McLean back in the mix as well. Do you go, great, let's go for it?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what you're here for.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we are here, and that makes you just more excited for Saturday night. I mean, if you have such a competitive group of people here, it will be exciting sport. That's what we love.
Do you get Saturday night fever now? Do you enjoy this on a Saturday night?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, we've got some questions from everybody that's been tuning in for all 3 of you as well. Let's start with Rodrigo and swing into our questions from our viewers for you as well. And Rodrigo, we're going to start with one here. What keeps you motivated to keep improving? Because sport's always improving.
Yeah, improving, it's part of the process to be open-minded and to always want to improve, because I've been doing this for a while now, and you never know everything. There's always, the horses teach you lessons every day, and this is what also is super humbling about the sport, is that the horses, throw you curveballs, all the time, and to keep improving and to keep learning by watching and doing it yourself is that's really, I think, for me, it's a great part of our sport. And the fact that they don't talk, that you have to create this communication with them, and sometimes there's a little bit of miscommunications, but it's by practicing and being with them and competing that you can establish really partnerships, and then come out and in big Grand Prix really perform, like Christian did a couple of weeks ago with Checker and Kent, and that's really, it's art. Yeah. But to that, there's a lot of practice, but the process of getting there is like very long, and you have to always be open to learn and understand what's going on.
Second question to you, again, a little bit of a lesson. Do you have any tips for walking the course? When you walk a course, what are your tips for everybody else at home? I'm
not the best. The walking the course with me, I really take it a little bit. I take it a little bit light. On a very big class, I will really be focused, and I will be, walking lines and stuff. But I tend to not try to get like too stuck on numbers and stuff. I try to ride with a little bit of feel, and try to improvise a little bit if something goes wrong, and not stick to the plan and then make the plan. You know, if it doesn't work, you have a mistake because you were not able to improvise. So my buddies, Jimmy and McLean always joke with me that, I just eye it.
Yeah.
So in small classes, I eye it, and I like to do that. I think it's a good practice. It's not really recommended 100%, but you listen to your teacher, do the course walk, do it properly. But once you really have a lot of experience, you are able to do it a little bit more on a more softer way. But the important thing is know your horse and walk the course and do what's right for you.
Yeah.
If everybody is doing 5 in a line, but you have a small stride, go ahead and do the 6. Don't do like everybody else. Just try to do what's right for you and what's going to make you have the best result.
Excellent, good. I have one more for you, which is basically a riding lesson from that point of view. Transitioning from the point of view of going from the canter to the walk as well without ending up in a bouncing situation. How do you make smooth transitions?
I think that the bouncing is that you not have enough leg and you're not using your seat enough. So I would say that, to come from canter, try to push down on your heels, really have a better connection with your leg, and then find yourself, in the transition, whether it's trot or walk, but it all comes from the legs. Before you're pulling on the reins, have your leg on, and then, touch the steering wheel, and then make your transition. But I think that most and foremost is to have the contact with the leg first.
Excellent, thank you. Olympic champions giving us lessons this week, which is great. Mimi, what's your favourite horse to ride? Real technical one.
I don't like to pick favorites.
Oh, here we go.
I'm one of those people that doesn't like to pick favorites because I don't think it's fair. But I'd say Selena, Cosmos, and Alfie are like the most special horses.
I was going to say, give me your top 3.
Ever ride? Yes. No, they're all incredible horses. They're all very different, and I'm lucky to work with them. But those are definitely some that have changed my life.
Excellent. And let's go to your second question. And a little of what I mentioned earlier, how do you balance college and 5-star riding?
Yeah, it's a lot about the support system around you. I have good friends in school that will send me notes when I miss class, and then I sometimes will work...
You don't miss class.
I do work with a writing teacher that will help edit papers or help me with ideas and kind of forming that. And then I also try to have a lot of time management. I think that's important in the sport and in school, just being able to get ahead of the work and make sure you get it done before it's too late so that you're not in a time crunch. I think looking ahead, make sure that you have the assignments done so that you can relax and really focus on the sport, and then being able to manage the time in riding so that I can go home and make time to do the school. So it's just a lot of time management and relying on the people that are around to help you.
Great. Good lessons for both sides of the equation there from that point of view. Question to you as well. What do you do most in flat work that you think leads to your great rounds? Because the big rounds are made on the flat.
Yeah, I think I've always been trying to work on flat work. It's definitely not my strongest suit, but I've been working with a dressage trainer recently, and I think it's really important to have the hind end and the front end underneath you. I tend to let my horses get a little strung out. I'm not a super connected rider, and just working on hand and leg. I work a lot at the sitting trot now, which I don't love doing, but it's really good for me, and kind of just working both sides of the horse. We've been working a lot on being even on both sides, not just focusing on the one side that you prefer more, the one side that the horse doesn't prefer more, kind of making sure everything's even on both sides, and always just making sure your horses are adjustable. I think a lot of it comes from that, being able to move forward, being able to slow down, being able to get your horse really listening right off the bat. I think that's kind of the basis of my flat work, and then dependent on which horse I'm riding, kind of adding a few things in, whether the horse is stiff one way or stiff another way, and just making sure that they feel very good and that they're also responding to me at the same time, and it's not a fight, kind of working together to be more malleable, because I learned from them. It's definitely a give and take. If I'm doing something wrong and they're not liking it, then I have to adjust the way that I'm flatting to work for them. So I think it's a lot of just learning, but recently more working on being even, not focusing too much on one thing.
Excellent. I don't know how you fit it all in. Christian, to your questions, what's your pre-show ritual? Do you have any rituals pre-show? Do you have anything that you go, this is what I go through before the show, or at the show, I should probably say as well? Do you have any sort of rituals that you go through? you
Not
superstitious?
really special,
Yeah.
or not really that I realize it for myself. Very special, but probably if we would ask my groom now, she would say yes, definitely yes. He's changing everything on the horse. So he has to put the saddle in the right position where he wants it. He always has to do the bridle himself. Like I would call that kind of a ritual.
Yeah, but for you, it mentally puts you in. This is done and that's my process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that's kind of for me. Before I go on the horse, I want to make sure that the saddle is in the position I want to have it on the horse, and the bridle is in that way connected that I want to have it. So that's a bit
Details.
that's some small details, but that's my rituals.
Yeah, small details, but big details if they're not right.
Very important in the end.
How do you stay fit for jumping? Because you're obviously in very great shape. Have you got any
That's
tips?
a good question. I so far I have to say that I'm in a lucky position that I'm physically quite good. So I'm not doing any extra sport. My sport is riding. I'm doing that every day.
But
I like to double lunge and lunge a little bit. Double lunging is also sometimes quite a good training because I like to go on a bigger circle, and I like to move with my horse around.
Yeah.
But in general, just I'm a lot on my legs every day, and that helps me.
Are you a big gym person or not?
No, not at all. I have to say, no, I can't say that.
It's just unfair. What's your horse's schedule when they're at home? What do you do? Let's take Checker as an example. What would Checker do?
That always depends on the plan. It depends on if Checker is coming back from a show or if there's a show coming up. Generally speaking, if he comes back, he has easy work. He goes out in the field. I'm probably only sitting maybe twice or 3 times a week on him. It depends also on my schedule. But if there's a show upcoming, I ride him every day. I might jump him a little bit small fences at home before we go to the show. So then my full focus is really with him. Feel a little bit maybe what he needs before the show. It's not it shouldn't be always the same program. Sometimes you feel like, oh, we have to jump a course. Sometimes you feel like, oh, actually I think it's enough if we do a couple of gymnastic things. But that's really different from show to show. It's hard to say it's always the same. Yeah. Easily saying, if they come back from a show, they have an easy week. There's an upcoming show, they have a more focused week. Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a little look at what's coming up this week, because we've got a big week ahead and how it's gone so far this season. Let's take a look at our leaderboards, or who is doing what so far here in Wellington this year. Leading Lady Rider Award, presented by Martha Jolly-Kerr. Leading that so far is Natalie Dean. Emily Contis also had a terrific run as well. She's in second spot. We can see Natalie Dean is getting a whole host of points at the moment. Let's go to our leading international rider as well. And Natalie Dean is leading that as well. Wow. And Nal Nasser in second, Luis Fernando Larrazbel. Now, he won a class here earlier on today. Ben Mayer in fourth, Carlos Sanguerrero for a top 5. That kindly presented by Michael and Wendy Smith. Thank you to them as well. And let's take a look at what's coming up this week and our leaderboards that we've seen so far. Not forgetting Don Little Masters as well, presented by Rushy Marsh Farm as well. Michael Smith, one of the owners there, sitting in third. Guy Hodgson is usually the big winner in there from that point of view as well. We have something for everyone here. And leading, let's take a look at the Hunters as well. Who is leading in the Hunter ranks? Jeffrey Hesslink with the top 3 horses so far. Sandori, Aventus and Trademark at the moment. So he's dominating the points there as well for Jeffrey. Kindly presented by the Ingate at this point. Let's have a look at what is coming up this week from that point of view. And sit here on to week 7. Of course, we've got our WEF Challenge Cup tomorrow. Looking forward to that as well. And then on Friday, that will take us into the traditional run of the Bainbridge Speed Class as well. And also going to see that on to Friday. Saturday sees us into $500,000 for the Lugano 5-Star Grand Prix on Saturday night. And Sunday, we follow it up with the MS 1 meter 50 and with this week's 2-Star Grand Prix as well. Also a big week for dressage. It's Nations Cup over there. And so they're in action for the teams are really battling it out over there. Freestyle from Friday, and it is on to the Nations Cup through those 2 days. Saturday sees the Grand Prix Special, and on Sunday is the U25 Grand Prix Freestyle as well. Are you exhausted yet? No? Good, because there's lots for you to be watching and enjoying throughout the week too. Continued coverage, of course, from all our international rings as well here, Derbyfield, and all of the different competitions that take place all around as well. Say hunters, jumpers, dressage, and you can watch all of that on wellingtoninternational.com and the USCF network as well. I would love to carry on all evening, but I have to say thank you very much to my guests. Delighted to have this golden lineup here. Good luck this week. Rodrigo, Major Tom, he's looking good.
Yeah,
Ready
we'll
to
see,
go?
hopefully.
Mimi, have you finished your schoolwork for today?
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Right, you can carry on. Christian, you finished your schoolwork for today now. Christian, thank you very, very much for joining us, taking the time to join us, all of you. It's been lovely. Thank you very much. We are also going to be heading into one of our videos out of the new series that we'll see here. We're already into our second of the season, and every rider has an origin story, whether it's horse, a victory, or a passion for riding as well. And we'll bring you a feature on Nick Haness, to share his journey from the humble beginnings as a rider to winning the Hunter Spectacular previously here in 2024 as well. So welcome again to our Origin series presented by Origin Investments. Take a look at this.
I'm Nick Haness, and this is my origin story. On the weekends after school, I'd go to the stables where I grew up, and there was a lot of trainers at this facility, and I used to literally put my saddle on my bike handlebars and drive around and offer, if anyone needs any help, I will gladly get on your horse, whether it's a green horse, old, young, a pony, a huge horse, I didn't really care. That's how catch riding started for me, and then it just sort of turned into more of a whole thing. The origin of my A-show career started in Indio in 2001. My parents had gifted me a 1 week at Indio as my Christmas present that year to compete, and a lot of things changed for my life that week. No one really knew who I was, and I was sort of just stepping up and competing against the world's best juniors, and that one Christmas present really led to my world of this, where it is today. I really am so grateful for my parents for giving me that opportunity. Rome's not built in a day. I wasn't given top horses and clients from the very, very beginning. It's something that I had to really work towards, and I remember all of the frustrations and looking up to my peers who were, years ahead of me, Peter Pletcher, John French, super successful riders, and just studying them and studying how they produced horses and how they came to the ring, their tact, their turnout, in really admiring and learning from how they did it and just watching. I have been competing here in WEF for over a decade, I believe now. It's, definitely a different atmosphere here. And as a young professional, being here and just getting mileage, just being here, not winning necessarily, but being here and learning the ins and the outs and the ropes of how it all works, it makes the success nowadays feel so much more of a payoff. The level of playing field is so high here, especially during Hunter Week, which is an exciting week for all the Hunter riders. Last year being the first time that I won the 100,000, Peter Wetherell night class, the Hunter Spectacular, was an incredible moment, just a proud moment for myself. Those moments really truly happen by luck. You just never know when it's your night, when it's the horse's night. There are so many variables that go into success. It's not just something that's given. The origin of my partnership with McQueen, when the first time I rode the horse, I had a feeling about him that there was going to be something magical, and he always just gave me this great feeling, and I knew he was my ride. And the horse knew I was his rider. We just had this really great bond, and that was established at a very early stage. And then as McQueen's career continued, and he just got better and better and better, and that horse honestly just kept delivering one performance after the next, and he is a horse that never ever let me down, and it just became a team that was one to watch, and that's a really fun thing to be a part of. The Hunter Spectacular here during WEF is such a special class. This week in Wellington is historically one of the most sought after weeks in Hunter history. I mean, all of the best riders are here. Everyone's targeting this week, and I feel like all circuit people are building up for this special week, and really it's a week that is so magical, and to have success this week on any level, to qualify for the class is important and exciting. The crowd, the announcers, the lights, it all just makes the experience exponentially more exciting and more vibrant. Looking ahead to Saturday night, I'm extremely excited about the opportunity. Now's not a chance to hold back. Go for this. You want to win this class. Show everyone you deserve to win it.
Thank you to Nick, thank you to Origin Investments, and we have more in that series to bring you over the coming weeks here in Wellington. That wraps up this week, and our thanks to all of those. Thank you to my guests there for making the time. Great to have 2 Olympic champions with us, and of course the Youth Olympic gold medalist as well. And good luck to them all this week in the Lugano Grand Prix. That wraps things up. And our thanks to USEF as well, who are bringing you our live stream here this week. We'll be bringing you tomorrow as well, of course, into the WEF Challenge Cup onto Friday and throughout the weekend too. USEF supporting sponsor of our live stream, in part with support of US Equestrian Federation and the USEF network as well. And to Dodd Technologies too, our partner in engineering. Extraordinary experience since 1983. Discover how they elevate sports, entertainment and corporate events at doddtechnologies.com. Now thanks to Lugano as well, our presenting sponsor for the $500,000 Grand Prix this week. Passionate supporter of the equestrian community. They've created a collection of equestrian-inspired wearable works of art, and you can either come and see them on site or head to the website luganodiamonds.com. That's it for this week. Join us and throughout the weekend, as I say, we've got lots coming up for you, and the coming days with the WEF Challenge Cup speed class as well. Saturday I will be back with the pre-show for the Lugano Grand Prix and with the overall rundown, the Grand Prix itself. Make sure you join me for that, for all of that coverage as well. And then on Sunday, we'll give you a nice little wrap-up of what's coming up there as well with the MS 150 Classic and our 2-star Grand Prix. But look forward to seeing you on Saturday night. Come and join us. Let us know on all our social media where you're watching, what you're looking forward to. Stay in touch with us and join us here at Wellington International. That's it for now from all of us at WEF Weekly. See you at the weekend.